Hello, hello. Welcome to math, friendly neighborhood math teacher. Today we're going to be working some more on rational numbers. We've done some adding and subtracting. We've done some working with them. Today in the rational numbers, you're going to be doing some, we call them story problems and word problems, sometimes higher order problems. You're going to be applying adding and subtracting numbers to real life situations. So these are the hardest kind of problem. Working the brain hard. We're going to do some examples here before you do the assignment. Hopefully, as I talk through these examples, it'll help you see how to look at the problem and try to see what number they're asking you for. So here we go. We're working in the book on page 34. And I'm starting here with number 4. And again, they're going to be asking a question. I'm going to kind of work through it, and hopefully it'll make some sense. Okay, so number 4 is asking what's the distance between the top of the fishing pole and the fish. So this distance here, that distance right there, they want to know what that distance is. And I'm purposely not using certain words. I hope you can see that you're going to add these two numbers together. They want the total distance. So from the top to the bottom, they've got this amount and this amount. Well, we've learned how to add without the glare. We've learned how to add these numbers on our calculator. So you start with, whoa, Larson, type the right buttons. So the up arrow, or the second button, and the 7 gets me this mixed number, 8. And I use the arrow keys to do 8.5. My goodness, I think it's a good thing you're seeing this. 8.5. You can see sometimes it's hard to type a number. So there's that 8.5 feet. And then I want to combine this 4.5 feet with it. I want to add the 4.5 feet. Type that in the calculator. You get that it's 8.5 plus 4.5 is 13 feet. It's this kind of word problem where you have to see what they're asking for. And they want to know this distance plus this distance. It's a hard concept, I know. Number 5, a shark begins 172 meters below sea level and then swam up 137.1 meters. Where is it now, according to sea level? Well, if you think of 170.5 below, hopefully you can think of what number that is. You could draw a picture maybe. It's below, so it's down 172.5 meters. And then if they swam up, if they come up the number line, going up to the right on the number line, you're adding, coming back up 137.1 meters. When you type that in the calculator, you'll have the number for here. Trying to figure out how I can have it so I can see everything. I just need to get out of the way. That's what we need. So negative, that's the button for negative down here. 172.5. And then we're going to add, because we're coming up the number line, 137.1. We end up at negative 35.4 meters. But again, the first step is really being able to see what they're asking for. That you start low, below in the negative, and then you come up. So you're at a couple more examples of problems like this. Number 10. The temperature in a town is 36 degrees, 0.6, and negative 12 at night. So what's the temperature change? How much does it change? Words like change and difference, we're subtracting. So you're going to take this number and subtract this number. Maybe you can see on a number line. Can you see that if this is 0, up here somewhere is 36.6, and down here is negative 12.6 somewhere. Can you see that it's going to be this amount plus that amount? That's another way to look at it. 36.6 And if you want the change, you're minusing the negative 12.6. And if I can help you see, minusing a negative, we've learned that that's just adding. So right here, you're going to add these two distances from 0 together. Those two temperatures are 49.2 degrees apart. They're that different. There's that much of a change. There's that total distancing. If drawing some kind of a picture helps on this. Number 14. This is another one where a bird flies to its nest at the bottom of the canyon floor, which is below sea level. So you have this amount here. And the bird goes from the nest all the way down, not just to there, but then even more. So you go this amount and this amount. So whether you think, oh, I'm just going to take those two amounts, whether you think of that and you just add the two together, 89.35 is one way to think of it. If you can see that it's a difference, it's 528 1/5 minus a negative 89 3/5. These problems, what they're asking you to do is just take what you understand about distance or difference and see if you can build the actual mathematical expression. Whenever they're asking about a distance from one to another, you're always going to be subtracting. You're thinking, well, wait a second, which one do I subtract? If you subtract this one, or if you subtract it the other way, 89.35 minus 528 1/5, either one of those is going to get you the same distance from 0. It's going to give you the same distance amount. And then you just make it positive. That's why we did absolute value earlier. You can see this will be negative. Makes an absolute value. But either way, when you type these into the calculator, you're going to get the same number. And I'll type in, how can I do this so you can see what I'm doing while I'm doing it? I'll type in the 528 528 1/5. And then if I subtract it off because it's different, so I'm going to subtract off the negative 89 3/5. It's exactly the same expression as this one up here. You'll get the exact same answer. $3,089. 3,089. I'm showing the class on this day how to turn this number into a mixed number if you want. We already know you can push this button and it'll get you a different format. Oh, 617.8. But if not that one, this math button right here will do some math for you. So when you have the answer, you can just push math. And you want to change it from a fraction, an improper fraction, to a mixed number. So you push the number 1 down here, push the number 1, hit enter, and it changes it to 617 4/5, which was the same thing if I push this second button up, 617.8, or 4/5. Finding differences, utilizing the differences. Another one real quick is this 19 where they're talking about temperatures at sunrise and sunset. And what does the temperature change? There's a part A and a part B. How much does it change? Well, if it changes, these are subtraction problems. So how much does it change from here to here? Take one number and subtract the other one, and it'll tell you. When they're asking for change, one general rule, and I'm trying to think if this book will always do this, is take the last number and subtract off the first number. That will tell you how much it changed. 1349, and then you subtract off the negative 1131, how much the ending minus the beginning gives you the change. So on this one, the 25.25. and you subtract off a negative 7.69. When you enter those numbers in the calculator, you'll see how much they change. And you can see with the plus, those can become pluses. You're just taking this number plus that one. That's from a positive number to a negative number. You're just adding all those distances together. And then on which one did it change more? When you type it in, you'll see that this bottom one changes more. This number becomes a higher number. To save time, I won't type it in, but you can see that when you type it in, you'll see that this is a bigger change. It starts at a higher number, 25, not 13. And yes, it doesn't come down as much, but there's enough of a difference that becomes a bigger change. Number 20. Misha dives from a platform that's 5 meters above water. And her dive takes her that much below the surface. If you draw a picture, here's the diving board, and there she is. So it's 5 meters to the water, and she goes 2.1 meters underneath. So which would represent the distance that she dives? Well, the reason you see these absolute value signs shows it's going to end up being a positive number. So it's the 5 and the 2.1. If you want to work it out on first and figure out the number, you can, and then compare each of these numbers. But distance, finding the difference, is always going to be subtract. So it's 5 minus a negative 2.1. If you're not sure, you can use a calculator. Yes, because you're taking one and subtracting off the other one. This is 2.1 meters below the surface. So yes, that one works. If you take a negative 2.1, that's this one, and you subtract out, oh wait, that's not the same number. You're not subtracting out that number. So that's not going to work. On this one, 2.1 minus 5, no, because it's got to be the exact same number that you subtract. You've got to take the 5 and the negative 2.1 and subtract them. And that doesn't do it. That's changed the number. What about negative 2.1? And you subtract 5. Yes, that's going to be the same. And 5, that's the same number. And if you subtract, oh, they're not subtracting. So that's not the same. That one won't work either. These ones with the square boxes where there's multiple answers are extremely hard. You have to work out every single one. You can even type them into the calculator to see which of those gives you 7.1. That's one way to work it out, is just to try them all and see. But the distance, the difference, the change, you're just subtracting the two amounts and then finding out what the positive is. I know this is complicated. I know this is hard. This entire assignment is the highest order thinking you can do. So give it a shot, give it a whirl. You can get some help from me on Fridays if you need. You can come in, but don't get frustrated. Just keep pushing through, and you'll find that it is possible, and you can get them right. Thanks for listening. I'm cringing because I know it's hard. As you stay with it, as you work through it, you will find progress. That's my encouragement for you. Do well on the assignment. Thank you.